All right, so thanks for joining me again. Paul Lanhart with Wild Hearts Adventures. Wild Hearts Adventures is a program of Breakthrough Ministries here in Burnsville, Minnesota. And I'm outside today. Today happens to be the 4th of July. Maybe not the best time to record a video because you might hear some booms as people are already setting off fireworks. But we're going to go ahead with this. Today I want to talk hopefully briefly, we'll see how I get through this, about things to bring with you on the trip. Now, we're not going to cover clothing as much as just other items. We'll have a different video for clothing. I'll have to make that here next day or two. At least that's my hope. And we might title this also "What Not to Bring" on your backpacking trip. Now, this is mostly focused on backpacking. We do trips in Colorado, and that's one of our most common trips is a backpacking adventure in the Colorado Rockies. So I'm just going to quickly go through some stuff. You can see a lot of stuff here on this table. Believe it or not, these are things that people bring with them on the trip. But like I said before, this might be a little more about what not to bring than what to bring. So I'm just going to start right in. You'll notice I have this is actually a backpacking chair. It's fairly compact. It unfolds into a small chair. We have these, and you don't necessarily have to bring one, but if you have one and it's kind of your favorite, you are more than welcome to bring your own. They need to be somewhat lightweight and compact like this. So that's something you could bring. So we'll leave that out there. I like to bring, there's some like essentials that might not get covered in clothing that kind of fall into the category of, miscellaneous items. One thing is gloves. I always bring a pair of gloves. These are very lightweight gloves. They're a little bit, they have some warmth to them. And just for those chilly mornings, or like on summit day when we're summiting a 14er, could get chilly up there, so I bring a pair of lightweight gloves. I also actually have a pair of sun gloves just to protect my hands from the sun. Sometimes when we're hiking, very sunny and the sun is intense in the mountains, so I like these, very lightweight, and they actually don't provide a lot of warmth. They're more for protection from the sun, like I said. I bring a beanie, just a very simple beanie, not cotton. You'll hear lots about why you shouldn't bring cotton in the mountains or on any of our trips. This can be, again, handy on a summit day or a very chilly morning or evening. Can be a very nice thing to have. Some people like to bring a hat. That's a little more wide brim, something that covers your eyes. This one kind of comes out, so it has more sun protection. Great idea. Also very lightweight, very packable, folds right up, and I can pack that. So those are some things I bring. I'm gonna get those out of the way, but remember those. I'm actually going to jump into some things that we see a lot of. I'm going to start with some personal care now. Now, we're not talking here about the travel. When you travel, of course, we take the van out there and we stay in a hotel for a night. You're going to bring some personal things. I got a hair dryer here. People want to bring that. We're talking about on the trail, what you're going to bring on the trail with you. And people bring body lotion, and I've seen people bring a battery powered shaver and deodorant and other lotions of various kinds, of course toothbrush and toothpaste. I understand the desire to bring that stuff, but I'm going to tell you, don't. Okay, well, actually bring the toothbrush and toothpaste. Just bring small ones. These are kind of my normal size. But you can get, like a travel. So go to Walmart, go to, Target, whatever store, in your area that you can buy travel size, buy a travel toothpaste, because you're not going to use a lot out there in a week. These are okay for travel, you know, in the van at the hotel, but you'll want the actual travel size if you're going to bring it in your backpack. Now that's okay. I'm going to tell you, unless you have some kind of serious condition for your skin or something that you have to have something, don't bring body lotions and, you know, deodorants, that kind of stuff. If you really need to, yeah, that's what I told you about 4th of July. You're probably hearing the fireworks. If you do need something, try to bring something very small that's very packable. And again, if you need it. Now, somebody will say, oh, I need my body lotion. You're not. Plus, we don't want things that smell. And when I say that, I mean things that have fragrance in them. And most lotions and hair stuff, all that has fragrance in it, and it attracts bugs and can attract animals at times. So you know what? Leave this stuff at home. It's okay for on the road. So if you bring some small items for the van ride and at the hotel, that's great. But keep it to a minimum. You know, hair dryer. Most hotels have a hair dryer. You don't need to bring it with. And I know some people want to bring some personal care items for when they get off the trail and we're at a hotel again. Totally understand. Just try to keep it to a minimum. Because again, we're going to have a lot of equipment in our van or our trailer, and all this personal stuff adds up. So we want to keep it as small as possible. So I'm going to put these away. Now, I'm just going to go through a few things that I see sometimes on that people bring, and they want to bring them on the trail. Now this is exaggerated, but a lot of people say, oh, I need first aid. So they want to bring a first aid kit. Now I know this is really big and most people don't grab one this size. This one happens to be from my Jeep, but you don't need to bring a first aid kit. You don't need Band-Aids. You don't need that kind of stuff. We have all that. So you can leave your first aid kit at home. And trust me, we have a lot of first aid. We have to. And we can cover almost anything that happens out there. And that kind of brings me to another point is, you're like, well, what if something happens? I need to be protected. And I understand. They want to get a hold of people. So I've seen people bring radio sets. You don't need to. We have that. We have satellite communicators. We will bring these. So if something happens, if it's an emergency, we can get a hold of the right personnel for that emergency, even deep in the mountains. So we've got that covered. You don't have to bring your radios and stuff. All right, so I'm going to put this away. Again, don't bring them. Part of why I say all this is that you're not going to have a lot of room in your backpack for personal stuff. So this is why I'm going over some of these items. Electronics, an iPad. People often want to bring their iPad. Okay, again, for travel, you might think, oh, okay, that's okay. I'm not going to bring it on the trail, but I'm going to recommend that you don't bring this even at all, even in the van. If you're flying out to meet us, I understand, but just keep in mind that all these electronics, anything you bring, we're not going to let you bring this on the trail, which means it gets left in the van. I would really hate for that to somehow end up getting stolen. We haven't had that happen yet, no break-ins, but you know, it could happen, and I would hate for that to happen with your items. So leave that at home. Speaking of electronics, we often see people bringing battery packs. You can bring one. People bring them on the trail. They want to take pictures with their phone, and you know, the phone battery might run out. Now we're going to tell you, put your phone on airplane mode. You can still take pictures. You're not going to have much of a signal out in the mountains very often, so you won't be using your phone much anyway. If you want to bring a battery pack, this is kind of big. I would suggest a much smaller one, because you got to carry it, and these are heavy. And trust me, once you start filling your pack up, these ounces start to add up. If you need a cable to charge up your phone, whether it's in the van through one of our ports or with your pack, make sure you bring the right cable. Don't bring a whole bunch, just bring one that you need. All right, so that's okay. A few other things that I see that people think they should bring, but I'm going to say please do not, are a saw. People want to bring a saw. We have a saw. We won't use it. An axe, or in this case a hatchet. People think, oh my gosh, we got to cut some firewood. No, we don't. We might have a fire if it's allowed, but we won't use a hatchet or a saw. That might surprise you, but that's how we do it. So leave these at home. All right. Another thing that people think about is, well, the mountains. We're going to be climbing mountains. Gosh, I've heard there's snow on the mountains. I better bring a ice axe. Yeah, I have one. I've used it on very rare occasions, and guess what? We will not be going someplace that you would need this. So again, leave it at home. Very handy if you did need it, but you won't. Along with those climbing stuff, people say, well, I better bring a rope. Nope, you won't need a rope. Because guess what? We won't be hiking in that kind of terrain where we would need a rope or a harness. So no climbing gear is kind of what I'm getting at. Now, what will help you climb is a good set of trekking poles. And we have them. So we'll give you a pair to use if you want to use them, and I would highly recommend them. This is one of those items that if you have a pair, they're lightweight, they're good, and you really like them, go ahead and bring them with. Use your own. Again, we do have them, but if you have your own, feel free to bring them. Some trips we might have the opportunity to fish, so some people want to pack a fishing rod. If that's the case, very compact. Again, most of our trips in Colorado we do not fish. There's not much of an opportunity, but if we do, we'll let you know that there's the opportunity, and sometimes we have a couple of these and we might bring them. Generally speaking, I would say leave the fishing gear at home. You're probably not going to have time, but if you do, we might have the equipment for you. All right, so people often ask about flashlight or headlamps. Again, this is my headlamp. We have plenty of them, and we will provide you with a headlamp. Usually flashlights, I don't recommend. They get lost. Headlamps are much easier, and we have them. Again, though, if you have one that you really like and it's appropriate for our trip, go ahead and bring it. That would be okay. All right, another item I see a lot of people like to bring is a hammock. Leave it at home. Takes up space, extra weight, and you won't have much opportunity to use it. I understand if we have the opportunity, like, oh my gosh, it'd be so nice to have a hammock and just take a nap in or rest. Sometimes I bring one for the group if we have the space, but you don't need to bring one. All right, so I'm going to throw that in there. Guess what? Cook set. Oh, there's the fireworks going off. Again, it might have been a bad choice to do this today, but cook set. And you know what that reminds me? Don't bring fireworks. All right, so a cook set. People think, oh, we got to cook it. No, we have all that equipment. We have all the equipment we need for cooking, and we have the tents and sleep bags, all that. You probably already know that, but some people feel like, oh, just in case. Nope, we don't need it just in case. We have it. So leave your cook set at home. That goes for coffee. I love coffee. I always bring my coffee mug. I don't bring this on the trail, but you'll see it with me in the van. But my French press, this is great on canoe trips or car camping, but not for backpacking. So leave your French press at home. Yes, someone did try to bring one time. And we told them we couldn't. Now I'm going back to the, I showed you the saw and the axe. Now I do bring a pocket knife, and if you want to bring a pocket knife, foldable would be recommended. Smaller, not huge. I've seen people bring huge knives. You'll have very little use for a knife, but they can come in handy. And so if you again want to bring one. Now again, if you're flying in, just remember that don't bring it in your carry-on, because they'll take it from you at the airport. But some people bring a pocket knife, and that's okay. All right, so what else we got here? Compass. We'll have a compass. You don't need to bring a compass. Just takes up space. Again, we know where we're going. We know, and we carry a compass with us for the group. So you don't need one. I know it seems like you should out in the wilderness, but hopefully you trust us and that we would have all that. Now, here's something that we tell people, hey, if you want to bring a Bible or something like that, or a book, go ahead. Yeah, don't bring this one. This is my big Bible. You're not going to want to carry this. Something like this would be much more appropriate. You can put it in your backpack, and it's light, gives you something to read. A small book, if you want to just read a book while we're at camp. I get it, but leave the big one at home, okay? So take this one with. Maps. People love to bring maps, and they always want to know where they're going. We have maps. We know where we're going, and we'll have maps. So you don't need to bring one. I would actually recommend that you don't really track where we're going. And you might ask, well, why? I want to know where we're going. Well, we'll tell you where we're going, of course. However, people can get caught up in those details, and they forget to enjoy the wilderness, enjoy the mountain beauty that's around them. And so constantly looking at a map or checking your GPS on your phone can be very distracting. And we would love it if you weren't distracted, instead really enjoyed the people you're with and the wilderness that you're in. So I would recommend leave the maps at home. All right, a few things I do bring. Well, actually, leave the pets at home, stuffed or actual. Don't bring any. Just a little tip there. Something you should bring: sunglasses. These are big ones that I have. They actually go over my glasses, so they're kind of big, but sunglasses are very important in the mountains. So if you don't have a pair, I would highly recommend getting them. If your eyes are at all sensitive, the sun is very intense in the mountains, so bring sunglasses. Bring a pen. I don't have a journal out here, but bring a pen, pencil, and a journal would be great. You might want to take some notes. Great idea. All right, we said leave the shaver at home. Throw that over there. We use Gold Bond a lot. Now this happens to be foot powder, but we use the body powder. If you want to bring your own little container, I'd bring one smaller than this. They make little pocket size, travel size. Bring one of those. We'll have some. Great stuff to freshen you up before bedtime, that kind of thing. So definitely welcome. This reminds me of medications. We'll have ibuprofen, Tylenol, aspirin, that kind of stuff. We have things, first aid for when people need it. If you have a medication that you actually need, and these happen to be allergy pills. I don't have allergies, but my wife does. Something like allergies, if you know you have allergies, bring some allergy relief. If there's some other condition that you have that requires you to bring something, bring it, and bring a small amount. All right, just a small container, because it might be something that we don't provide. You definitely want to bring that, especially obviously prescription medicines. Definitely bring what you need for, I say 10 to 14 days worth. Now I know we're only out there for 8 days, but you know, in the rare chance that we would somehow get delayed for some reason, you wouldn't want to run out. So bring that. Oh, this is binoculars. Again, it's one of those things that's really nice to have, but it takes up space and weight. You probably won't use them. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's why I put that on there. A lot of people want to bring binoculars, but they don't use them. This is a piece of what I would consider the equipment category. This is a blow-up pillow that I use. It's very packable. It packs down small, and you put air in it, and got a nice little pillow. We'll have a few of these that you could borrow. But if you have your own, again, it has to be something that packs really small. But if you have one and you want to bring it, certainly do that. All right. This happens to be a buff. I know I put it in here because I'm not sure it completely fits in the clothing department. This actually is a tubular, so it can go over my head, not be on my neck. Again, this would protect me from the sun, so I can put it over me and be around my neck, and then it can kind of come up over my face. If the bugs happen to get bad, which generally doesn't happen in the mountains, but it could, I suppose. But that's a nice thing to have with is a buff like that. You'll see here I have 2 water bottles. We will give people 2 water bottles if you don't have any. We have them, and you'll see they're Nalgene. I think they're 32 ounce is the size. Yeah, 32 ounce wide mouth water bottles. This is what we use on the trail. You will get 2 of these. Again, if you have your own that you like REI sells them, you can get them online. If you want to bring your own, you can. I would suggest 2 of them. But if you just have one, we'll give you a second one. But I want to highly recommend that if you bring your own, that it be the wide mouth, Nalgene style. I don't know. I want to make sure you can kind of see it. Maybe the red one's easier to see, but it has this wider mouth. The reason for that, number one, we want you to have 2 of them because in the case that there's not a water source immediately available, we always want to make sure people have enough water to stay hydrated on the trail. And 2 bottles will do the trick. But we filter all of our water. We have a military grade water filter / purifier. And the filter actually fits on top of these water bottles. They screw right in, and we can fill it up directly from the filter, and it makes things so much easier. So again, if you have your own and they're wide mouth, for sure, feel free to bring them, but we do have them. All right, Ziploc bags. These are great, highly recommend. You can use a dry bag, and now we got airplanes going over. Fireworks and airplanes. I don't know if I need to yell, but hopefully it goes by quick here. So we have a few dry bags, but if you have your own, definitely bring them. Great to put your extra socks, your underwear, other things that need to stay dry. We don't have a lot of them, a lot of extra ones. But we do have some, so you could ask us if we have some available. They're great to have, but you don't need to go out and buy a $20 dry bag, because Ziploc bags work great. Just like these are 1 gallon Ziploc. That's what I use for my clothes. And just it organizes them too, and then you can kind of compress them, squish the air out, and seal them up. So some gallon and maybe a couple of quart-size Ziploc bags work great for most people. So definitely bring some of those if you need them. And of course we'll have some with us, and you can get some from us. Snacks. I love Oreos. you can bring snacks, especially for travel. Now we'll have some. We'll have snacks. We'll have lunch on the way to Colorado that we'll provide. We'll have with us. But you can bring some of your own. Now this says family size, and I would recommend that you bring small snacks. On the trail's a little different story. We would prefer that you don't bring your own food on the trail. We'll provide snacks. We'll provide the meals. You'll be well fed. But that doesn't mean you can't bring something. If you have something you really love on the trail that fits into what we do, in other words, it's lightweight, it's compact, and maybe you have special dietary concerns. I know we have people that are gluten-free, and sometimes snacks, they need their own special snacks, and we try to accommodate that. If maybe you can't have nuts, of course in our snacks we separate the nuts from other snacks, but there could be certain restrictions that you have, and you want to bring your own. You can, but we're going to want to know what they are, and we'd like to know ahead of time if you're going to bring them on the trail. For the ride in the van on the road, we don't care too much as long as it's not, a crazy amount, and it's not something that's going to spoil if the van sits outside for a while. So keep that in mind. Plus we stop to get gas, we stop to go to the bathroom along the way, and people can run in to the gas station, grab a snack. So you don't need to bring a lot. And again, on the trail especially, the general recommendation is don't bring snacks, and that goes for soda, other bottled things. We tell people you can bring them on the trail, but you got to carry them. Nobody else is going to carry them, and you may not have room, so don't plan on it. Now if you do bring them, and let's say it's a soda bottle, you're going to have to carry that bottle out too, because there's no garbage out there. You got to bring the garbage back with us. The neighbor's setting off fireworks again. So just really think about that. Again, we'll have good snacks, and we'll have plenty of them, and we'll have good food and plenty of that on the trail. So again, general recommendation is don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. So those are some things to bring, and a lot of things not to bring. And we'll have more video on clothing. Hopefully going to do that in the next day or two, and you'll see that video. Check that out when I get that done, because we want to talk about clothing. Clothing is extremely important, and again, I'm going to just say it right now. We're going to emphasize go light. Don't bring more than you need, and we'll tell you what you need. We have our participant packet that explains that, and then we usually do a meeting where we also talk about clothing and other items. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact me about what you can bring or shouldn't bring, and we'd be glad to help you out with that. Thanks for watching. I know that was a bit all over the place, but I appreciate your attention and for watching this video. Again, Paul Lenhart with Wild Hearts Adventures. Thanks for watching.